Right, hello. This is Punlife signing in. A bit of a different video today. Probably not going to be putting this as public, probably as unlisted most likely. But just calling out a certain type of behavior that I disagree with. We're going to be talking about a certain prominent figure of the community experiencing a bit of a confirmation bias in regards to how he was treated by the judges of the panel for the District G Pro League Invitational. And so I'll hopefully try to show, from like an objective point of view, try to show why the judges acted that way, and also shine some light on a little bit of a inconsistency in King Jae's, who's the figure in question, inconsistencies of his video. And so first off, I'd just like to start off with looking at a certain definition. So we have a definition of confirmation bias, right? Now maybe I'll just throw my camera down a bit. Right, confirmation bias. Also called confirmatory bias or my-side bias, is the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, recall information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs or hypothesis. It is a type of cognitive bias and a systematic error of inductive reasoning. Now, what this means is that you interpret information in a way that suits what you already believe. So, if you believe that people are against you, you will only hear the things that affirm the belief. And so, this is the main issue with this matter, really. And so we're going to go into Jay's video, and I'll be commenting throughout the whole thing. So this is transformatory use, in case someone decides to try to copy strike this video. It is transformatory. I'm adding my commentary. I'm adding something that isn't part of the original video, and thus it is fair use. It's also going.
Believe in me. They said that,
it's also going 1.25 speed.
Do much. Obviously, they put people in, and I was like, all right, cool. You put these people in, but I don't feel like, if you want me to be honest and cool, an ace and spade, I don't think they're better. So, you know, they came into the tournament, and stuff happened. You know.
Okay, so first point. He believes that he feels a little bit disrespected. He feels that he's better than other people they chose. He doesn't agree with the people they chose, which is fair enough. You know, it's the commentators had their own. So Stu is a commentator, Spag is a commentator, Alan is a very prominent figure of community, Strider is part of DG, and Joe is also part of DG. They're all like Stu and Spag have done lots of commentary. They had to do their research prior on the players. They have a fairly good knowledge of like players in both Europe and outside of Europe, so they can make a fairly good assumption based on results within Tekken World Tour, results in overseas tournaments, national tournaments. So they have a fairly good idea of what we're talking about for the most part. Obviously, they still have their own biases. They can still be incorrect, but for the most part, they know what we're talking about. But of course, in this case, Jay is perfectly entitled to feel a different way. Maybe he had another pick that he felt was a bit more solid. There was plenty of people that could have gone into the league, but it was just 16 spaces. It was very, very tight. There's plenty of solid players across UK and Europe that could have still made it.
I know he's not as active offline, especially during like the Tekken World Tour.
That's very important. So Strider is the person that suggested Jay to the panel. But even Strider himself outlines Jay hasn't been active in Tekken World Tour. And if we go to something he posted at me the other day, actually. So this is Jay's tournament placings. Ego Snake Pit, ESL Skirmish, I think that's an online event. Not fully sure. If I'm wrong, do correct me. Tekken World Tour Online, again, online event. Evo Japan, top 65. Very, very good placing. That's, it's like ends up being like top 5% effectively. Higher than top 5%. Only the best. Again, very, very difficult tournament. The Italian scene is amazing at the game. So 528 plus people is incredible. Very good placing. Rumble at the Gaming Sphere. It was a elf tournament. He got 4th. Very good placing. There were some really strong people. I'm not sure if Soul Rosa won that one. I don't actually remember who won that one. I was there. I think I went 0-2 that tournament. It was a really bad tournament for me. And then the Royal Rumble, he came first. Royal Rumble was a King of the Hill type event. First to 1. I believe it was 4 rounds. Best of 7. No, I think it was best of 7. For the rounds. And King of the North, he was second in that with some very notable players from the Midlands and the North Borough. And 49th, Evo 2018. Again, very good placing, like top 5%. So, you know, very good placing. Can't say anything about it. Absolutely amazing performance. He took some really notable names. Yeah, it was, you know, a job well done. And that's, again, like top 5% placing, if not a bit higher, I think. So very respectable. But that's, you know, you'll notice from that list, not a single Tekken World Tour event. 2 Evos, incredible tournaments, very good placings, no World Tour events. So Strider is correct, and this gets repeated by our commentators. Judges. He hasn't attended any events. He wasn't in Poland. Poland was the cheapest event this year to go to. Unless you were in UK, then I guess Birmingham was the cheapest. You could probably go Poland for about maybe 200 quid. If you booked early, you could get a flight under 100 quid. You could get accommodation probably for like a night, or 2 for probably another 100 quid. So you could fairly comfortably fit in like sort of 200, 250 quid, because it's a fairly cheap country, honestly. The currency is very low compared to the pound, so could have went to that. I went to it. There's plenty of our UK players that went to it. I work full time to afford my tournaments. I'm not sponsored. I could do it. If I'm incorrect, to correct me, but his visit to Evo Japan and Evo 2018 were both funded by his viewers, and they're both 2k, I think, dollars or something, or 2k pounds, if I remember from donation goals. That money could have easily taken him to 2, 3, 4 events in Europe, but you know, it's his money, his decision. But yeah, that's some backstory, right? He hasn't put, actually, he also went to Last Chance Qualifier for Tekken World Tour. I believe that's not on it. That would make 10 events that he went to in a year, which is okay, but it's not great compared to a lot of other players that the cast has mentioned. But let's get back into the actual point of the video.
I think his presence on social media and Twitch,
very true,
has sort of given him
probably the biggest presence in UK. Easy.
Like big momentum characters. He can be absolutely unstoppable.
Again, absolutely unstoppable.
Depends how long the list is going to be.
I just want to see, was that a jump cut?
He can be absolutely unstoppable.
Jump cut. Right. What you saw there, if you see Stu's face jump from like one frame to another. Now, the reason behind that is, when you edit a video and you don't match up frames of a person, it results in a jump cut. The person just sort of jumps to another frame. This is because something has been cut out of context. That's not the full footage. I'll be going into the full footage after this, but let's continue this. But just something to keep in mind.
Depends how long the list is going to be. I put him on my list because I support him. I think he's a good player, but I'm not...
Again, both Strider and Stu so far have said they support him. He's a good player.
He was not the first name I wrote.
Not the first name on the list. Fair enough.
It's like the 15th name.
So, 15th name. This doesn't mean he's bad. This still puts him as top 15 in the country, or potentially sort of UK and Ireland, which is still very, very good. So that's not offensive anyway, unless your ego is suggesting that you should be higher than that.
Depends what you want. You know, in my opinion, Jae has not. He's not got the offline results.
So Spag says Jae doesn't have offline results. Again, I've proved it. His tournament results are only 10 games. Very, very good results. Don't get me wrong. Amazing results. But again, it's only 10 tournaments. By comparison, someone like me, a nobody in the scene, like I've only been playing for a year, I'm compared to like Jae and anybody in Pro League Invitational, I'm trash, like absolutely trash. I went to 28 tournaments last year. 28, and I was working full time as a student on my internship, and I funded everything myself. No sponsorship, everything myself, just getting deals as early as I could. And making use of the amazing London scene with like Red Bull events, Elf events. I did my best to go to like Birmingham when I could, and outside events. So It is possible. You just got to make the effort and save up money. And rather than go to like big tournaments, like rather than go Germany, which was really expensive, I went Birmingham and I went Poland, and it cost me the same thing pretty much. So you make compromises to go to as many tournaments as you can.
This season, and obviously I think it's down to.
And it's this season because he hasn't. I think season 1 he was present. I know he was in the second UK championships as well until some stuff came up. So it's this season that he hasn't been that active. So it's not even like his previous record. Like his record is good. He's a long time player.
Him concentrating more on his social media.
Exactly. Jay's been doing bits on social media. He's been growing at a really good rate. He's becoming bigger and bigger. But see, we see an annotation at the top. Now it's down to me not having money to go to all these events in Deccan World Tour overseas to prove myself. Right. Again, both his Evo trips were funded by his subscribers and viewers, if I recall. I'm pretty sure there was a big donation bar that said about $1,000 or $2,000. That money could have easily taken him to 2 or 3 tournaments in really comfortable accommodation. Even more than that. Like, if you like went sort of skimp and try to save as much money, you could probably go to like 3-4 tournaments quite easily. In EU, not even overseas. So that's just EU tournaments. We had Colosseum, we had Mix Up, we had Fighting Games Challenge in Poland. You had that was the one in Berlin. I forgot which one. We had Versus Fighting. He was a Versus Fighting. I'm surprised he hasn't put Versus. Did he put Versus Fighting on there? He hasn't put Versus Fighting on there, but he was there as well. So that was one, I think, event he was at. Yes, I'm pretty sure he was a Versus Fighting. So there's a lot of events he could still go to. It's a amount of money.
Twitch, all that kind of stuff. Maybe he doesn't have the time to practice as much as the other guys do and focus on the competitive side of it. But I agree with the social media presence thing. I think he's definitely one of the biggest guys in the UK. But when it comes to this tournament, it depends on what you want. If you want, I definitely think that Jay, watching him play and playing him, has improved from his second tag 2. So in Tekken Tag 2, he was very...
effectively nothing but praise, just saying that he's been doing stuff on social media.
But I just don't know. It depends on what you want. Do you want someone who has been getting the results and grinding tournaments, or someone who's got a good social media presence? I don't think he's a bad player. He's a good player, and I agree with you guys that he has managed to get some wins over people as well, like top players. But
very top players. Jay beat Doltering, Jay beat Rip. He beat a few other notable players. So he's a very strong player. And those are like big names outside of the UK. Like Doltering is a Korean player, if I recall. I think he beat him in the mirror as well. So that's it's very impressive stuff, and like no one's undermining the achievements. It's just a case of it's almost like a baby age moment. Like, this isn't actually aimed against Jay. This is just justifying their decision. There's nothing personal about this.
It's a hard one.
If you're talking about the top 8, probably not that. Top 12.
Top 12 in UK is not bad if you haven't been turning up to tournaments. It is really good.
Could be.
And that's only like 4 spaces, so
16, yeah, could be.
What?
Maybe we need to find balance. So I don't necessarily disagree with that decision, but I wouldn't say yes.
Yeah. All right. Andrew King Jae.
So Alan said he doesn't disagree, but he probably wouldn't say yes himself. So it's a sort of a reluctant position, but that's it's not like a no.
Yeah, can we park that?
Yeah, that's it. We have to get parked. Let's get parked.
With Kirby of Scotland.
Okay. Now, here's when things start getting a bit disrespectful, actually. Now.
I actually have that on my list too. So that is something I would say I agree with.
Okay, so for Kirby to go through, it needs a 4-man majority. So all those in favour of...
So I'm going to let this play out and then make my point afterwards.
Yeah? Good. Alright, so Kirby goes into the hat. Okay.
Kirby's been doing a lot of stuff, by the way. Both online tournaments, offline tournaments. He's been travelling. Very, very strong player from Scotland. He got slightly bust up at DG, which is fair enough. It happens. But again, that doesn't undermine his achievements as well. Or shouldn't undermine his achievements, unless you like bringing other players down.
People may not know how to play this guy.
Now, look, so backstory for those that haven't watched the tournament. DT Pro Invitational had 2 groups, both round robins, for the actual Invitational. So you had Group 1 and Group 2. Jae was in Group 2 with Kirby and a few others. The screenshot behind Stu right now has Group 1 on it. Jae wasn't in that group. Right? Jae was not in that group. He didn't have to play anyone in that group.
People may struggle against him.
So
I'm going to pick Guki Akuma.
I go with Senpai Shiki. I know
again, both players. Sorry.
Choice is going to be Senor Farfalla from Ireland.
All 3 players were in another group. Now, if you see, this is a screenshot of Group 2. Notice, Guki Akuma, Shiki, or Senor Farfalla are not in that group. Kirby is, yes, correct. The other ones were not. Jae didn't play them. He didn't beat them. Sure, he got more wins than them overall, I guess, but he did not have to face them at any point during the tournament. Comedic moment.
Feel disrespected.
Feel disrespected. Now, I'm not gonna go through too much of the other video because it's his video and I'm trying to provide commentary. He's shown his point of view. He talked about how he feels that it could have been a bit, he feels like he should have been higher. Which is fair enough. That's his own outlook on things. Again, going back to the confirmation bias, there's technically been nothing negative said about him aside from, oh, we'd like to see him place more often. He doesn't really have the offline results this season. It's not a negative thing. It's a very sort of just, out there thing. Like, he hasn't placed that much this season. We'd like to see him more. He's a strong player. If he can prove it a bit more often, then, there's no doubt about it. I'm just going to skip to, there's a, yeah. Oh, sorry.
This is Ben.
This is slightly annoying.
Weeks.
But, goose by habit. Okay, so no disrespect to Nintendo, the UK players, just the UK scene been trying to put dirt on it. No one's trying to put dirt, right? This had no dirt, and no matter if you say no disrespect intended, it's very disrespectful to Kirby, to Guki Akuma, to Shiki, to Senor Farfalla. They've all been doing bits. I'm pretty sure, if I recall, Senor Farfalla had more points than Jae in TWT. And has been doing very well in this TWT season, hence the faith in him. Head Stomper was one. He did pretty well VSF, if I recall, and then there was another tournament, which I forgot. So he's been doing well, and then this is something I'd like to show as well. So this is last chance qualifier. This was the last event prior to the Tekken World Tour finals. This was part of the finals, right before, day before. Okay, so let's look for King Jae. Whoop, sorry. King Jae, 97th, 2 losses, lost to Shadow 20Z and lost to Rambo. It was a stacked tournament. It was like 340 people, so he places like top, fairly high actually. Like it's a pretty decent placing, considering how stacked it was. Now let's find people he kind of ridiculed. Kirby, 65th. Same win ratio, but places a bit higher. Let's look at Senpai Shiki. 49th, 4-2, beating Junior and Genius. Fair bit higher. Who else was there? So we had Shiki. I'm not sure when Senor Farfalla placed actually. Senor, okay, lost to Guki Akuma, lost to Bati, lower than Jae, but had more points in TWT overall. And then let's look at Guki Akuma. Oh, 9th, 8-2. Losing to Peeling and sorry, I meant earlier he lost to Genius and Junior. So let's look at Guki Akuma's stats on this, okay? Just for the purpose of sorting some stuff out. So he beats Senor Farfalla, beats Somas, Yaslo, Chris. Okay, I'm not sure about. Well, obviously I know one of us. I know Senor Farfalla and lost to Peeling. beat DBP, very good player. Beat Sethi Black, amazing player. Beat Hasaldo, beat Mots, and loses to Junior. Very good run. 9th. I think he was the highest European player? One of the highest. Doug from Paris was higher. Highest UK player. And obviously Gerlanda won, and Dritten was there as well. So very good placing overall. Best player in UK at LCQ, just for that tournament. So, you know, putting him down, especially when you didn't actually play him, because like I said, he was in a different bracket at DG, is a bit disrespectful. So it's something for you guys to consider. It's that, and I'd also recommend watching the original District G video. I'll put the description down below, along with the actual like from this point onwards. Like, watch what all the casters and judges say about Jay, start to finish, no jump cuts. Watch it and see that they don't say anything bad at any point. The whole video that Jay has created is one big confirmation bias. And it's a bit sad, really. He's a good player. No one on the judges panel has put him down. They just wanted to see him offline more often, because a lot of the players that I mentioned, Kirby, Senor Fafala, Goki Akuma, Shiki, they've been turning up to offline events a lot more often. I mean, Senor wasn't even sponsored when he was going TWT. Pretty sure he was paying out of his own pocket as well. So, you know, it's sad, really. And I know I've seen some people in the comments of the video yeah, I mean, Guki actually, I didn't see this comment earlier, but yeah, Guki, you know, mentioned this, and it's true. Like, he didn't need to be called out. And, you know, there's someone mentioned, yeah, this gaming community is racist. There's nothing racist. The commentators didn't do this because of any sort of external factors or personal, like, things. It was just purely based on performance and, you know, what you achieved in tournaments over the last year. So, you know, this wasn't an attack. This was objectively just justified by the commentators. And to, like, you know, perform really well at DG. He did really well. He won against Fergus, I believe. He won against most people in his bracket. I think he only lost to Ken and Trench, and then he lost in the single limb finals afterwards. But, you know, very good performance. But to use that as a way to springboard against other players and put them down, and saying no disrespect does not make something disrespectful. It is still disrespectful to drag Guki and Kirby and others through mud. They've all played really well, and at no point did Jay actually face them. Like, Guki's been banging out people in Europe left and right. Like, his Akuma does bits. Sure, I mean, Jay's Geese does bits as well. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can't hide that fact. Like, Jay's Geese is really fucking good. But Guki could have potentially banged him up. We don't know. Like, you can't drag him like that and then be like, oh no, this wasn't aimed at you, this was aimed at Panos. You are still using their name for, one, satirical effect, and still effectively dragging them from mine, taking the piss out of them. So, you know, check yourself, maybe. But yeah, that's all from me, because it kind of irks me when things like that are taken off context and not fully, like, justified. There's a lot behind the scenes that Jay hides from his audience, and this should be shown to people. Results are there. Commentators didn't think of this out of thin air. They had reasons for this. LCQ was the last event of the year, and there was a fair few TWT events before that have made sense to use. Like, they were used for sort of seeding purposes and choosing players for this tournament. There's nothing personal. There's no attacks. Just relax. Have a Snickers. Anyway, that's me signing off. I know I'm probably going to be accused of cloud chasing after this, but I don't care, This video isn't going to be monetized anyway. I don't think I think I could monetize one video on my channel. I'm not going to monetize anything. So, you know, it's fine. And if this video tries to get taken down for by Jay, for like as a copyright strike, if he tries to strike it, I'll just re-upload it. It's transformative use. Oh, sorry, no, I'll dispute it first. It's transformative use. I'm happy to argue. I have all the time in the world. I have reading link right now. So yeah, hopefully this clears the air up a bit about the situation, because it's very disrespectful to other players and shouldn't happen, honestly. But yeah, I hope all of you guys have a good day, and hopefully this clears things up a bit. Peace.